Hi, I'm Todd Goodwin. Today I'd like to share with you an interesting personality type or tendency that I've seen a lot in my practice as a hypnotist over the years, and I bet you will recognize this particular behavioral pattern either in yourself, someone in your family, or a close friend. And it's called the Messiah Martyr pattern. And it's typically a person who goes out of their way to save everyone else, to sacrifice themselves in the process, and continue to engage in that behavior despite whatever negative side effects or disadvantages come with that type of pattern. Let me dig a little bit more deep into this. Now, the Messiah part is where a person feels like he or she, and typically it's more often women, that she feels that she has to protect other people, take care of them, help them, save them, and even to the point of doing a lot of work for those people that they should do for themselves. And it's this almost a compulsive need, or maybe it really is a compulsive drive, this emotional drive that, despite causing problems for that individual person, she still feels as though she has to help and save other people. And this is the Messiah pattern. And the martyr part comes from when someone puts out all of their energy and all of their effort and time, and they're doing it for everyone else, that they have nothing left for themselves at the end of the day. Now, a common type of person who would do this is typically a mother who has a few children and typically puts her children first, maybe her spouse second, and then after that, friends, family members outside of the core family, or people in her career, whether it's clients, co-workers, whatever it might be. And somehow she's not on the list. So she spends her days taking care of her kids' needs above and beyond what a good parent would do, and then doing whatever she can to help her partner at home, and then she's taking care of everyone else as well, but typically finds that she's exhausted, run down, maybe gets sick frequently, has no time for hobbies or fun, and is more depleted than recharged. And this is obviously an unhealthy state to be in, not just mentally and emotionally, but really it can take a serious toll physically. And that's where the martyr part comes in. Because if you're sacrificing yourself constantly, or if you're giving of yourself disproportionately to other people on an ongoing basis, and that's your primary way of doing things, eventually it's going to come back and bite you, and you're not going to have anything left for yourself. And obviously this was named after the Jesus archetype of someone who is saving everyone else at his own expense. Mothers tend to be the most common type of category. Nurses, school teachers, usually women, but men do it as well. And the problems are obvious, or I should say the undesirable outcomes for someone doing this is pretty obvious, like I've already mentioned. But why would someone do something like this, even though they know that it's costing them a healthy life, hobbies, maybe friendships? It could even be imbalancing their home relationship, where they begin to feel resentful towards the people that they're constantly giving to, but yet they can't seem to break out of it. Well, in a way, this is a sort of codependent relationship where this Messiah martyr individual, where she's giving in the top dog position. So in a codependency, you typically have someone who appears to be the empowered person, who's hyper functional, and then you have the underdog, or the person who is dependent upon that top dog to survive. Now, it's true that young children are completely dependent upon their parents, and so I'm not advocating that parents should neglect that. Obviously, you need to give to your kids, but when you put everyone else's needs first, and this shares some traits with the people pleaser, and you're afraid to say no to them, or afraid to let them skin their knee or fail or be challenged, then what happens is this enabling of the children and other people in this case causes them to become dependent upon this Messiah martyr, which can actually build up resentment towards that very person who's trying to help. Well, why would someone continue to do that? Well, this is the interesting thing, and this is the same thing with codependency. Why would someone enable someone at their own expense? It's very simple. It's a self-esteem deficit or a self-worth problem. The only reason why someone would save everyone and sacrifice themselves is because if in their dying breath, I'm being melodramatic here, but in their last moment, they can say, well, at least I was a good person. At least I helped others. Well, that's not much consolation if you're not around to enjoy your life. So if someone doesn't believe they're worthy unless they help other people, unless they're a superhero, unless they save the world, then they're going to have to save the world and sacrifice themselves in order to feel worthy of love or to feel like they're actually a good person. This is a distortion of thinking that causes that emotional need to help and to fix and to save. Incidentally, sometimes we see this in other caretaking fields. It could be psychotherapists, maybe sometimes hypnotists, but as I mentioned, nurses and other situations where people sacrifice themselves to help others. The solution here is not only having that individual consciously realize the pattern they're in and that consciously understanding that those other people do need to learn to walk on their own and that the individual has a right to live a life that's balanced. But really, the real magic is the subconscious work through hypnosis and related techniques to increase the Messiah martyr pattern or increase that individual's self-esteem so that they have unconditional self-love, which means in order for them to feel worthy, they don't have to say yes to everyone. They don't have to enable and coddle and care for everyone. They can care for themselves first, and as they fill themselves up, it's like their cup runneth over, and then they have extra to give to everyone else. And really that's the case with parents, is that parents, and especially when there's a couple, must put their own relationship, their individual wellness first, the relationship with their partner second, and the children third. If it's reversed, then it becomes a self-sacrifice, and that has a very sad ending, and it leads to a miserable life, first for that individual who sacrifices him or herself, and secondarily the rest of the family tends to fall apart too. So if you find that you or someone you love is in this Messiah martyr pattern, do your best to understand what is driving it and what are the thoughts that are leading to this pattern, and know that you absolutely can break out of it. As long as you teach the subconscious, the habitual emotional part of us where our beliefs are stored, that it's not necessary to sacrifice yourself to be a good person. Once you understand that at that deep level, the change is almost immediate. So have a great day and take care of yourself first so you can give your best to others.